I know how hard it is and frustrating to start a business and not see any profit, not generate any income, while at the same time, you're still investing. I've been there, I've done that, and I know exactly what you need to do depending on what stage of business you are in. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 3 profit stages for every product-based business, and I'm going to help you discover how to identify where you are and which strategy that you need to essentially focus on as you continue to grow and scale your business. Hey brand builder, it's me again here, Maureen Mwangi, a brand growth strategist dedicated to teaching product-based entrepreneurs the sales and marketing strategies they need to scale their beloved product brand with scientific precision. So, as you are building your business, what do you need to do at each stage of business? And what are the stages of business that I'm actually talking about? So, these are the stages of business that I have defined. So these are my own definitions. And so if you're part of my ecosystem, this is how I speak. So there are 3 stages that every product-based business essentially goes through: the emerging stage, the growth stage, and the scale-up stage. And in each of these profit stages, there are different strategies that you need to implement, while at the same time, there are different mindset shifts and perspectives that you need to consider as you're going through this. So who are you if you are in the emerging stage? So pretty much the emerging stage is a stage where you are starting. You have an idea, you have a concept, and what you're really trying to do is validate if you actually have a proof of concept. It's validate if somebody is actually willing to pay money for this product that you're selling. So either you have a passion for making candles, you have a passion for fragrances, a passion for different scents, and you want to now bring this to life. If this is what you're actually doing, then you are in the emerging stage. And what's the number one thing that I need you to understand if you're in this stage? Business owners sell products, but consumers buy brands. So what does that mean for you? You need to shift from thinking product to thinking brand. Why? Because that's what consumers buy, that's what consumers associate themselves with. And so what do you need to be thinking about or doing in this stage? First of all, you really need to focus on understanding your customers' psychological buying habits. Why? Because at the end of the day, the reason a product sells like hotcakes is because it's been designed upon a deep understanding of the consumer. Well, because your consumer is literally looking for their pain point to be solved. They're looking for a solution to their problem. And if you really don't know their psychological buying habits, the issues they're going through, why they're searching for this product, it's going to be impossible for you to market. So that's the first thing you need to be doing. And how do you do this? You do market research, right? Either show up at events, collect feedback, all the frequently asked questions your potential customer is asking you, that's data you're collecting. So look at the questions they're asking you: how to use the product, when to use the product, how to pair your products together. This is the data you need to have in your back pocket to know how to speak to them, to know how to sell to them, to know if you actually have a viable concept. Then you need to focus on selling your product however you can. Hear me out here. In this stage, many people get lost in designing a website, hiring a graphic designer, paying for the most expensive Facebook ad agency or marketing agency before they've actually proven if the product can actually sell. And how do you sell? You sell it anywhere. Either you sell it from the trunk of your car, you sell it at a pop-up event, you sell it at a sip-and shop, you sell it at a brunch event. Everywhere you go, you're selling the product. If you're selling apparel, you need to be showing up in the apparel that you're wearing. If you're selling candles, you need to have the candles with you every single place you go. Why? Because people need to know that you're selling this thing. In addition to people knowing, you also need to have the data to know if this concept is essential. And the biggest perspective shift I want you to have here is this, my friend. You are selling a brand. You may have a physical product within your ecosystem, but at the end of the day, consumers are buying your brand. That's it. That's all, my friend. Don't waste time spending more money, investing in anything. You just need to prioritize A, understanding your consumer psychological habits, and literally selling your product however you can. And if you do the things that I've talked about in the emerging stage the right way, you should be able to graduate to the growth stage, which is the second stage. In this stage, you have consistent sales. You know that your product is selling. You know that you have traction. You know what you need to do in order for you to make money. So if this is what you're experiencing, then you are in the growth stage. So what do you really need to do in order for you to get up to the scale-up stage? The first thing here is we need to work on developing your brand's secret sauce. And what do I mean by developing your brand secret sauce? It's really understanding what is your differentiating factor in comparison to your competition. Why? Because that needs to come through your product, your pricing, your positioning, and also your distribution strategy. Because up until you really understand your differentiation as well as your distinction is when you'll be able to really have a perspective as well as have a position in the marketplace, right? Because many of us are talking about highly saturated markets, but if you know your distinctive concept or element as well as your differentiating point of difference, you'll be able to rise to the top. You'll be able to command the space in the market. So this is the work that needs to be done first. Then the second thing we really need to focus on here is building brand obsession. And how do you build brand obsession? It's through great messaging. It's through understanding what is that wow factor you're trying to bring into the market. It's through articulating that belief, that ideal that you're trying to convey to your audience. Because once you know what is your great messaging combined with your differentiation and your distinction, you'll then be able to have that cult-like community, meaning have a brand that people are obsessed about. Like many of you know some of the brands that have some obsessions. You think about brands like Peloton and Lululemon. There's a reason why you're resonating with that brand. There's a reason why you're buying those products. And your brand can still have the same, but it's not going to have the same up until you really articulate your belief, the ideal you're trying to sell, combine that with your differentiation and your distinction. Once you've developed your brand secret sauce, then you're ready to start building brand obsession. So how do you build brand obsession? You build brand obsession through great strategic marketing so you can begin to wow your customers, reel in the right customers, and become habit forming in their everyday life. And how do you do this? You really do this by understanding what your brand is all about. Like, what is that one thing that you're trying to sell? What is that one transformation that your audience is seeking? Because up until you do that work, you're not going to be able to create that community that you're looking for. That community comes from fantastic messaging. It comes from people buying from you on repeat, but it also comes from people making your brand a part of their life. Then you're now ready to give your brand some sex appeal. What do I mean by that? You're now ready to invest in amazing imagery, amazing logo, amazing packaging design. Why? Because you now really understand what makes your audience convert. You really understand what your strategic growth plan looks like. And here I really want to talk about the difference between brand strategy and brand design. Brand strategy is the process of establishing the framework in which your brand will leverage when it comes to growing the business. While brand design is the process of bringing that vision or the framework that has been established to life. So before you hire a designer, you need to have worked with a brand strategist. And because you have traction in your business, you are ready for that. Why? Because you have the necessary information. You have the data needed. You have the reviews. You have the sentiments. You have the frequently asked questions. You have the products that are selling. That is enough information for strategists to leverage and create a brand growth framework for you in which your designer can use to bring your vision to life. Then once you've done that, then it's time to maximize your sales. And how do you maximize sales when you're in the growth stage? First of all, it's optimizing the channels that are already working. So if you've been selling wholesale, it's really evaluating the wholesale channels that you have. Are all the wholesale channels profitable, or are some of them not profitable? Those that are not profitable, you have the opportunity of letting them go. Then you ask yourself, am I ready to add an additional channel? This could be your website. Then you jump into your website, you work on maximizing the success of your website, making sure clients are converting on your website, making sure you're driving traffic to your website, and also making sure that you are bringing in return customers to your website. That is what I talk about when it comes to maximizing your sales. And those are the 4 things you need to focus on when you are in the growth stage. Literally, that's it. But the biggest shift that you need to have within your business is literally shift from guesstimating to building your business with scientific precision. Because it's that scientific precision that will give you the simple formula to grow. At the end of the day, in business, it's doing the simple things that many people want to avoid doing. When you do that, you start seeing success. Now, your foundations are laid out. You have your data that you've been collecting, and you now know what is working. That's when you're ready to graduate to the scale-up stage. In the scale-up stage, you're now asking yourself questions like, how do I double my monthly revenue? How do I double my sales? Who do I need to hire on my team? Like, what do I need to do to potentially quantum leap or exponentially grow my business? Because now you're not thinking about incremental growth, you're thinking about exponential growth. And if this is what you're asking yourself every single day, then you are in this stage. In this stage, what I really want you to think about, even before I get into the strategies you need to implement, I want you to shift from thinking that numbers stifle your growth. Numbers actually accelerate your growth. Why? Because once you know what is working, you're able to channel that creative energy, that creative effort into something that would actually sell, into a strategy that will actually develop momentum in your business. That's the number 1 perspective that I want you to embrace, because a lot of times my clients are creatives, and when they hear the numbers, they start to shrink. And I want to give you the permission to know that actually numbers will allow you to catapult the growth of your business. Now let's jump into what strategies you need to focus on here. Maximizing the lifetime value of your existing customer. Really get good at doing that, because the 3 main ways to grow your brand. Either you focus on getting new customers, focus on increasing the frequency in which people buy from you, or you focus on increasing your average order value. Each of these strategies have their own time and place. So looking at your numbers right now, how are you going to maximize the lifetime value of your customer? What is within your realm? What is within your budget? Do that and really become a master at that. Then I really want you to focus on systematizing your business. Literally look at what are the processes that need to be implemented, what are the standard operating procedures that need to be documented, what are some of the things that need to be delegated to a team member, what are some of the things that you need to really become a master at. Because in this stage, you're still going to be doing the marketing, you're still going to be the person selling. But you should not be doing the tactical, mundane things in your business that take you away from the profit-producing activities. So what do you need to do to systematize your business? Do you now need to either have a center of excellence where these are the people that are worried about getting your business to make money, looking at the data? Do you need to have a customer service department that is focused on collecting all the questions and working with customers? Like, really, what are the systems that need to be put in place? What is the infrastructure that needs to be set up? Because once you have that, you're going to be able to now focus on generating cash flow, increasing your profit reserves. Because once you have the profit, then you're literally ready to springboard to anywhere you want to go, my friend. Those are the core things you need to focus on in the scale-up stage. But also in the scale-up stage, the three things I talked about, meaning maximizing the lifetime value of your audience, systematizing your business, and learning how to generate cash flow and increasing your profit reserves, happens alongside the things we talked about in the growth stage. So you're still going to be dialing in your brand secret sauce. You're going to be figuring out what is now that it factor that people are latching onto. You're still going to continue building that cult-like following. You're still going to be focusing on giving your brand sex appeal. Maybe you're doing some packaging refreshes for some products that you think need a lot more work. But you're also still going to be maximizing the sales of your business, because all these things have to happen at the same time in order for you to create a profitable, scalable, product-based business. And now you may be wondering, okay, so what are some of the activities that I'm doing that are actually stifling my growth or stifling my cash flow? I want you to watch the video that is going to show up right here on this screen, where I'm talking about the mistakes people make within their marketing when they're building their product-based business. And once you do that, let me know in the comment, what was your biggest takeaway? Until next time, my friend.